Welcome back for another round of product updates. Today, we'll go over demonstrate how to automate workflows using custom fields, agent backlinks, and show you a sneak preview of workflow paths. Before we move on to the update, we wanted to let you know that AI Teams is now available to everyone on Taskade. We demonstrated how working with multiple agents allows you to delegate tasks and collaborate more effectively, particularly when breaking down larger objectives. We're continually improving the experience and would love to hear your feedback. For today's update, let's first show you how to use and automate custom fields. Select Automate from your project and choose a trigger. For this example, we'll use Calendly. Our goal here is to check for new events, automatically populate a new row in our sales leads project, and set our custom fields. First, we'll need to connect our Calendly account and set the scope to user. Next, we can use the Add Task action. Choose our sales leads project and configure where to create the new row. For custom fields, we'll set the status to New Lead and pass the invitee's email into the email field. Once you're done, click Save Changes and enable your automation. With our automation ready, the sales leads project will now automatically generate new rows and pre-fill our custom fields. We can then delegate these tasks, set due dates, and track our progress. This release also introduces two new triggers: a YouTube trigger to track new videos from channels, and an RSS feed trigger. For the YouTube trigger, when you provide the channel URL or ID, the automation will check for new videos every 15 minutes. You can then use this trigger to extract information, connect it with other actions, analyze the video transcription, convert it into articles, or execute any other custom workflow. Similarly, the new RSS trigger works the same way. You can track your favorite RSS feeds, extract content from articles, and filter or summarize them. We hope these two new triggers free you up from staying up to date with external content. If you're using projects as knowledge sources for your agents, projects now include backlinks to all agents that reference them for better visibility. You can open the backlink menu to see which agents are using the source, allowing you to add additional sources or remove it as needed. To wrap up the update, here's a sneak preview of the new branch action to create custom workflow paths. If you're using Taskade to automate your emails, the new branch action allows you to conditionally split your workflow into multiple paths, continuing only when a specified condition is met. This feature can be applied to any workflow, taking automation to a whole new level. For early access, follow us on X for more information. That's all for now. As always, thank you for watching.
All right. Hey, everybody. Got some exciting updates there. How are you doing, Narek?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm pretty excited about this latest batch of updates. How about you?
Yeah, this is my first time live streaming, so definitely excited to do this and discuss some of the updates we have too.
Yeah, it's Taskade's first time live streaming, so, and Narek's as well. Not mine, but that's okay. I'm just an amateur though, so don't expect too much. If there's a technical snafus, it's bound to happen here. But we're here to basically keep everybody updated on all the exciting new updates that we've had recently, and hopefully get some questions in the chat. If you are listening or watching on whatever platform that you're on, you should be able to chat with us. So we'll be checking the chat periodically and definitely at the end. So if you have any questions that pop up or you just want to say hi, feel free to pop that in the chat. We'd love to hear from you, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X. Yeah, love to hear from you guys. So yeah, what I thought we would do, Narek, is kind of talk about some of these updates. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm pretty excited about the YouTube automation. Being that I watch a lot of YouTube videos and would love to keep up with them automatically somehow. What about you, Narek?
Yeah, I mean, like just off the top of my head, I already have like 2 or 3 things that I want to do. I follow a few YouTubers, so sometimes they like send me videos on like subscriptions and notifications, and I kind of want to get like a summary and just see if it's even worth my time. So that's one thing that I'm excited I could do now.
Absolutely, yeah, because I mean, YouTube videos, they can be really great, but sometimes it's like a lot of repetition. So it'd be nice to just have AI just quickly grab them whenever there's something new, summarize it, and then see if it's worth spending, 10, 15 minutes on or not. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Let's see. We got some great comments coming in. Keep the chat coming. I'm actually going to pull up all of our latest updates in the newsletter, and we're just going to kind of go through them briefly together. And Narek and I will chat about it and give our thoughts. But if you have anything that comes up while we're going through it, feel free to pop that in the chat. Let me pull this up. And let's put us both on the screen here. That might be helpful. And make this a little bigger. What do you think? Let's see. How does that look?
You're the
Um,
professional here.
I'm the amateur here. Yes, I am the amateur here. So I have a little bit of experience, but let's see here. So here we go. So these are basically the highlights of what's released in this newsletter. We release these newsletters pretty frequently. To be frank, we are updating all the time, which is really cool. So Taskade's engineering team is just wild. They're always like coming up with new features, and it's pretty exciting. But we come up with these newsletters to basically let everybody know what's new, and hopefully get some feedback from everybody, and hopefully you can test some of this stuff out. So basically the highlights are going to be AI Teams Roundtable, pretty exciting, pretty cool. Automation for custom fields, RSS feed, and YouTube, which I'm super excited about. YouTube probably the most, but a lot of these are really cool. So let's go through them and just kind of go through our thoughts here. So roundtable mode. I know that Narek, you were kind of chatting a little bit with Dion and John and the
Mhm.
team about roundtable mode. I don't think I fully understand it yet. I just know that like now you can have every agent collaborating.
Yeah.
How do you understand roundtable mode?
So this feature was actually something that, like, when for agents and AI was still kind of like a new thing, we had created this one use case called Roundtable. And basically, what you would do is you would just use a slash command. And maybe I could just share my screen actually.
Oh yeah, feel free. Just you
Let
can hit.
me
Should be able to hit stop sharing and share yours.
let me share
If
my work screen here.
awesome.
You guys see it?
Make it. Can you make it bigger and without affecting it on your end?
Let's see. How do I increase the size? Do I just
Command
zoom in?
plus or yeah,
That better?
yeah.
All
I
right,
think
cool.
so. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks horrible on my end,
Oh
just
no.
zoomed
All
in.
right.
But yeah. Okay. So when we first had a project, let's say create a project plan for product development.
Let me see if I can make this. Maybe do picture in picture. There we go.
Mhm.
I'll be a little bigger for people.
So what I just did is just generate a huge list of tasks. And originally what we would do is we had a command that you could just do roundtable. And what this would do is it would basically run through these personas. And this was way before AI agents, before actually creating any of this stuff. And a lot of people were finding this very helpful because essentially you could ask one question to multiple people at the same time. So the same way that you have a board meeting and you have someone from your team, they might be the UX person, another person might be the engineers, and you kind of bounce ideas back and forth. And so this would be very helpful. But
Cool.
now what we've done is we've basically allowed people to kind of create their own AI teams. So you have your groups of agents. You can create your own AI team, and then now you can just add everyone over here. So
Oh.
now you have your own specialized, tailored, like it's not fixed whatsoever, and it's tailored to your use case. Whereas before it was kind of like we just had a prompt in the
Mm.
background. Now this is actually it's whatever you want it to be.
Okay. No, that's really awesome. Okay. So
Yeah.
basically now you can create not only your AI team, but you can also have them interacting with each other,
Mhm.
playing off each other. What would be like an example of it? Like,
So, I mean, one thing would be product feasibility, right? So you might have one, you might have a UX agent, you might have someone that's an engineering agent, and you might ask them, well, is this idea feasible? And what would be some of the issues that I might run into? And it would basically run through all of the tasks that you would actually need.
Awesome. No, I love that. I mean, there's a concept of, if anybody's read Think and Grow Rich, there's a concept of the mastermind in there, and it makes me think of that. Like, basically, you can put together the greatest minds of, like, whatever you're studying, and have them all talk to each other. So
Yeah.
lots of cool possible use cases and scenarios for that. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Great book, by the way.
Yeah, it's a really good book. So yeah, let me bring back up the newsletter real quick.
Hmm.
And now that we understand that, so that's super cool, you guys. So Roundtable is live. You should be able to use that now and give it a shot. This is like basically a little bit more on how it works, but what we've really added is the Roundtable mode. So you can get everyone to respond, have a real time conversation with your agents. Okay, cool. So that's awesome. Super excited about that. Oh, is it not sharing? Let's
I
see.
think
Wait, I lost it? Let me get back. Hang on. Let's get our newsletter back. Here we
there we
go.
go.
Okay, cool. So the next point that we wanted to bring up is custom fields for AI automation. So essentially what this is you can now, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Narek, but how I understand it is you can now actually attach like the integrations, um, like for example, Calendly or whatever integration you're using. I would just say Calendly since this is the example here, and set it up to be an actual field in your tables. So the example here is, let's say you get a new lead and they book a meeting with you. You could actually have that field show up
Hmm.
as booked, like for example, like booked a meeting or booked a call or whatever you want it to do. How do you understand this, Narek?
Yeah, so it's basically if you have an existing project, let's say it's your leads, just like we mentioned earlier, and you have your status fields, right? Like you might have lead status, what stage they're in, or even priority, or whatever custom fields you created for that project. Now, when you're creating an automation, you can just add those fields directly. So you can actually configure them.
Okay.
So I actually don't have a project here, but
Yeah.
what I'll do is
If
I'll
you
actually
want.
create, yeah, I'll just
Okay.
create one right now. Oops. Let me share my screen here.
Okay, cool. And keep the chat questions coming in the chat. I do see them. We will get to them. So appreciate that.
Okay. So for example, this is the project. I'm gonna switch to a table view over here. I'm gonna collapse that. So I'm actually going to add, let's say status, and we're just gonna add a few of these. You can see it's like not started, whatever. And I'll add another one over here just to kind of show what it's dealing with, type of task. Now, if I decide to automate this, so let's say there's a new event scheduled on Calendly, what I can do is whenever I go to add task, I'll choose that same project that I had. And then over here where it says add fields, I can now configure the fields.
Oh,
So for
cool.
example, if something's added, I wanted to create a new row and basically say it's not started for this. And that basically saves you a lot of time because you no longer have to go back and manually configure these things and set them up.
Mm,
So it's really great for like default
okay.
configurations or status points.
Amazing. Okay, cool. So really, we've just improved, your ability to customize all of the fields that you have on your table view, especially where you're going to see the difference. So awesome.
Yeah. This is also
Okay.
great for like customer requests.
Oh, okay.
So for example, if you I'm gonna just plug in AI forms over here. But essentially, if you create a customer request form, or you could do this through another app too. But if you create a customer request form and they make a specific request, you can have it where it basically categorizes it or
Oh, cool.
triages it for you. So it could be a bug, it could be whatever it is, and you can just have these updated.
All right. Well, I love that. So yeah, so basically our automations have, improved and are more customizable and connected to tables, which is awesome. Sweet. So let's keep going here. Let's look at the next update. Okay, this is really cool actually. This is RSS trigger for AI automation. So I don't know if you, Narek, use RSS feeds. I I don't really currently, but I have in the past to keep
Mhm.
up with certain topics, such as AI. For a while, I was keeping up with engineering topics for a different job I had, was looking at IT stuff. So RSS feeds could be super handy for that. And now we've set it up so that you can actually have those, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to like basically search for, I don't know. Do you know how often it's going to search for this? Is like daily or?
Yeah, so what it does is essentially every 15 minutes, it checks
Okay.
to see if there's any sort of update. So whenever
Okay.
there's a 15-minute delay on when the automation runs. Not that it checks everything, but essentially, here I'll share my screen. There are a bunch of use cases with this. And I'm just gonna keep bouncing back and forth with the screen
Please.
sharing.
Please. No, it's good.
So I'm just gonna delete this, and I'm going to do RSS feed instead. New item in feed. So you would put the RSS feed URL over here, and then from here, what you can do is you can add that content to, let's say, a project that you already have. So I used to use RSS feeds for digests. I would monitor a few websites that would post blogs and stuff like that, and I would basically have it come into my email inbox. Now that kind of became overwhelming because I was just there were way too many updates. So one thing that you can actually do is you can actually summarize it.
Mm.
So if you're running any sort of like newsletter or whatever it is, and you're watching other content creators and trying to figure out what everyone is kind of talking about, you can actually create an AI agent. So, for example, Ask Agent, and you can have them summarize that information for you. So I'm just going to do content marketer, and I might do like summarize information from RSS feed.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
And then it would basically provide you all this information here. So, for example, you can have content or summary or whatever it is, but we'll just do content. And then you can have this added into a project. So, if I had a project where I'm just going to review these daily, just add it as a task. And then now I know I could just revisit it at the end of the day and I have my updates. Or if you're on Slack a lot more, you can just have it essentially summarize information and send it to you as a direct message. So,
Cool. No, I
yeah.
love that. Actually, there's a question in the chat that might be good here. Mike Lewis says, also any chance of adding some kind of page modified trigger? This would allow us to track changes to things like change logs, even if they don't have RSS feeds.
So are you trying to basically monitor a website and then afterwards see if there's any sort of change, compare the two versions, see what's changed, and then trigger something off of that?
I think that's what he's saying. Can't we do that? Can't we?
I
Doesn't.
think right now
Okay.
you could technically use a third party tool for this.
Okay.
We don't have the monitoring capabilities, but there are other tools that do have this capability. And what you can do is you can actually change this to delete this. You could do an incoming webhook instead. And with an
Oh.
incoming webhook, you can actually define parameters. Now, I'm not going to put incoming webhook because there's private stuff there.
Right.
So, yeah, you would be able to do that. And then from there, you can run whatever automation you want.
Okay. Awesome. Well, hopefully that answers your question for now, Mike. Maybe we'll have the ability to do that in the future, but for now, you
Mhm.
could definitely use webhooks, which is awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And then let's check out the next update here, which is probably my favorite one. Let's see. Do it's not sharing it yet. Hang on. Okay, cool. So yeah, and the use cases that the team put together for this as examples would be blog posts. You could have, RSS feed of blog posts. You can also have podcasts, which is kind of nice. Podcasts will have an RSS feed, or just news updates as well. So just to wrap that up, yeah, and then the next one. So this is exciting for me because I do like to watch a lot of things on YouTube, but don't always have the time to get to everything that I want to see. Just becomes too much. This is like a nice way to keep up with channels. I think that we post a lot of content and you may not be sure if you want to sit through 30 minutes of it or not? Is it just kind of the same rehash stuff? You can actually now do YouTube automations. What do you think about this one, Narek?
Yeah, I already have like 3 or 4 videos that I'm thinking of like creating off of this just this one trigger. But yeah, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. YouTube to blog article is totally doable now. So if you have a new video, create a blog article from it, and easily you could run through multiple agents. So I'll share my screen just to like
Yeah.
quickly show how easily you could set this up. So what you would have is we're going to have triggers and we're going to have actions. And then if people aren't familiar with automations in general, there's a trigger. So when something happens in an app, it runs an automation that has certain actions, which are basically steps in an automation. So for example, when this happens, so when there's a new video, just basically put the channel ID. What you can do is you can essentially ask an agent, and it's going to show missing over here. But I could say summarize information from the video, and I would do at. Actually, oops, forgot I'm supposed to first transcribe it. So do transcribe YouTube video, and then you would take the YouTube URL over here. So we would do link. And the way automations actually work, they're kind of like a funnel. So data that's available at the top kind of flows to the bottom. So anything available in this first step is available in the second, third, and fourth step. But what's available in this third step is not going to be available in the second and first one. So kind of just drips down. Anyway, enough with the technical stuff. So what you would do is you would just transcribe the YouTube video, and then you could say summarize information from this and create like a summarize information from the video and create a blog outline.
Super cool.
And then you would just have the content that we transcribe. And then afterwards, you can even add this information later on to other agents as well. So instead of add task, I'm just going to delete this. What I would do is I would, let's say, run an agent command. So if it's customer persona, repurpose content, or whatever commands you would have for it. And essentially, you can run through a whole bunch of series of steps and changes to that outline. And then afterwards, when you're ready, you can even just publish it. So create a post on WordPress.
Love it.
Or you can even just like send a message to your channel on Slack. So if you're trying to review it or any sort of stuff like that.
That's super cool. I mean, yeah.
That's already right off the bat. That's one thing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I could think of 10 use cases off the top of my head for that. Yeah, so I mean, for example, if there's a popular YouTube channel, something that you like, you could easily now create a blog, connect it to basically a WordPress blog, and you could have, Taskade's automations go ahead and pull up all the new YouTube videos, summarize them, create blog posts, and actually like post them too.
Yeah.
So you could actually create a new blog, right away if you wanted to on some topic that you're interested in and pull from YouTube channels that already create content on it. Basically repurpose the content into a blog. And yeah, I mean, you could create your own little business if you wanted to from that.
Yeah.
So that's one use case.
You could even monitor like multiple. So there are a few AI channels that like you might follow or where AI influencers where they just basically aggregate information from across all their different sources. And what you can do is you could and they usually post these YouTube videos with it too. So what you could do is just have them transcribe that YouTube video whenever they posts and then have it send you an email or Slack message. And now you're just getting updated information. You know what's going on and you don't have to sit there and watch 20 minutes of the app.
Totally. No, I love that. All right, cool. So keep the comments coming in here. I love it. Some people are chatting. Let's see. Sage knows YouTube trigger is going to be super useful. I totally agree. It's probably my favorite update right now. YouTube and RSS, love it. You're very welcome. Virtual. Yeah, well, thank you. We're going to do more of these types of videos. So definitely appreciate the feedback. And yeah, let us know if we can help you. It sounds like you're thinking about, diving more into Taskade. Feel free to join our communities wherever you like. We have a Facebook group that's super active. We have Telegram, we have Discord. Wherever is
Reddit.
more comfortable. Yeah, Reddit, whatever's more comfortable for you. Feel free to reach out to us there. If you have any questions at all, we're happy to help you make the migration. It can be kind of tough if you're using like one project management or AI tool and you want to migrate. That's something that maybe we can support you with. So feel free to reach out. All right, awesome. There are a couple more updates that we can go through, and you guys can keep dropping in any comments. So those are like the main kind of meaty updates, but there are some other cool things that the team has updated. They're always working hard to make things just function better and kind of just look nicer. So this is knowledge backlinks. So essentially, it says now when you add a project to an AI agent's knowledge, a backlink is automatically added to that project. So it makes it easy to see which agents are using it as a dynamic knowledge source. So, yeah, how would you see this one working, Narek?
Yeah, so this is actually it's pretty useful whenever let's say you might want to get rid of a project. Um, you want to know whether this is being used somewhere else as well. So I'll actually dive a little bit deeper into how agents and projects work because
Yeah.
I think that this is a completely different way in how things work in general. So let me share my screen here. Okay. So in Taskade, we have these projects, right? So I'm actually going to create something called brand guidelines. And I'm actually going to change this into content. Create brand guidelines for Taskade. And I'm actually going to have add link. You know what? We're just going to have it crawl our website. Oops. An error right there. My bad. Let's do create brand guidelines for Taskade. Okay, so that's a bug. But anyway,
Well, we discovered
yeah,
that.
I'm just gonna skip the link thing. But yeah,
No worries.
file that later for Taskade. So it just created this project for me. I'm gonna close that. Now this project is actually dynamic data. And what I mean by that is I have an agent over here in the sidebar called content marketer, right? What I can do is I can actually train this agent. So same way that you have an employee, you give them instructions, right? You onboard them, but you also provide your employee references, stuff that they should kind of be looking at whenever they're doing your job. That's what knowledge is. So we're going to enable knowledge over here, and I'm going to add project, and I'm going to add brand guidelines. The reason for that is basically if I have a content marketer that's creating copy for the business, in this case, Taskade, I want it to adhere to my brand guidelines. So what you can do is you can upload one of these projects and then update. And then now what it's going to do is it's going to reference this information whenever it's actually going to create any sort of copy or do its job. Now, why is that important? Because if I refresh this is where that link comes in. Now, why is this
Okay.
important? Because now instead of me having to go back and retrain this employee every single time, right? Telling it, hey, we actually just updated our guidelines. This is what we're doing. And this happens in real life too, right?
Yep.
Team updates something, like in our case, the team updates the platform and they're like, this is what's new. In this case, you're basically, I can just make changes to this and the agent automatically knows.
That's
So
awesome.
now it's dynamic. I don't have to re-upload anything. I don't have to sit there and retrain it or any of that stuff or delete any sort of prompts.
That's
So
amazing.
these links are really helpful because now you know whether this agent has it or if it's even missing it as well. So it's really dynamic. And if you even tie this in with automations, so you remember the
Yeah.
previous automations where we were adding a task,
Hmm.
I can add a task to that specific project. And now I'm modifying the agent's knowledge automatically. So, if, for example, if I'm trying to monitor a web RSS or any sort of information like that, I can automatically modify the brand guidelines or whatever project it is, and my agent's knowledge is always being up to date.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Super important to have your knowledge up to date, and it's great that now you can do that. It's dynamic and you don't have to like constantly be retraining, just like retraining an employee, like Narek mentioned. I mean, that can be frustrating. It's so much easier to just be like, hey, here's the document. Go ahead and check it out. Like we made a change. Go look at it instead of having like a whole nother training course. Could you imagine like if every time, a company had to update something, they had to retrain their employees? That's kind of like the past, and now our agents are smarter and they can learn dynamically and check out the resources on their own. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. So that's knowledge backlinks. And then there's flow paths and automation. So there's
Yeah.
like automation got what a little bit more fancy. I don't know. Flow paths. You're showing the
Yeah.
flow paths before. So okay, so it's like conditions
Yeah.
to the
So this
paths,
one,
right?
this one, since it's not on production yet, we're still
Yeah.
working on it in our
Okay.
testing environment. But essentially, what you can do, and this is perfect for client requests specifically. So let's say you have a form, your
Mhm.
client wants to contact you about something. They're either it's like they have general feedback, they're having an issue. You might have a whole bunch of requests, right? You can essentially define different scenarios within your automation.
Mm.
So if it meets these conditions, run this sequence of steps. If it meets this condition, run this sequence of steps. And I believe you can have up to 7 different things, but don't quote me on that because I haven't fully tried out things.
So this is just an alpha right now. This is not live, right?
Mhm. It's not
Okay.
live, but this
Okay.
is coming soon.
Okay, awesome. So, and it looks like if you want early access, you guys should definitely basically reply with AI automation, either on Twitter/X, Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook group. We basically allowed you to do that anywhere you want, and we will let you know when it's live and able to test. So that's actually pretty much it. And I wanted to get to the chat. We had some interesting questions coming up. I know the team's been answering them in the chat, but let me go through here. Let's see. So this was a chat. This was kind of answered in the chat, but I guess maybe for people that are not viewing that, the question was, wait, Taskade can now crawl the root and scrape data from the entire domain.
No. That would be is because some websites are like thousands of pages. So it only crawls the URL that you provide, but you can provide multiple URLs. So whenever you're actually chatting with your agent, agents have the capability of crawling sites. So you can provide it like 10 sites and be like, all right, summarize this. So a good use case is, let's say I've seen this happen multiple times. Uh, you create an agent specifically to create content or copy for your client, right? Usually marketers, they start from the client's website to see what the client's brand and guideline and stuff is. So what they'll do is they'll go to the about page, they'll go to the FAQs, they'll go to the service, whatever it is. And this is great for customer support too. And you take all those URLs, paste them into the agent chat, and then afterwards you can just add that to that knowledge as well. So I could give a quick preview of this as well.
Awesome. Yeah.
Let me share my
Exclusive
screen.
preview. Somebody said in chat,
Yeah.
exclusive preview. Let's go.
So for example, what I can do over here is I'm gonna go to this content marketer and I'm going to actually say, I'm gonna try this out. Give me the URLs from Taskade's website. I don't know if this is gonna work. I've never really tried this, but yeah. So like it
Oh, wow.
basically, yeah, it went through all of this, right? And then what I could do is, you see where it says quick add. I can actually add this to a project, or you can just add it directly to an agent's knowledge. So you like what your agent responded, you want to add that to its knowledge, just do this directly. And you could say client's website and then press add.
Awesome. Oh, wow.
And now it'll actually just look at these whenever it's
Perfect.
referencing that information. But if you want it to be dynamic, you can just add a whole bunch of these to a project. And then when it's referencing this information, it'll actually look at it.
I love that. I love that. Okay, well, great. Well, thank you, Narek, for answering that one. We got a couple more before we wrap up here. So please throw your questions in while we're still here. Can agents log into password-specific web pages such as a CRM?
No. So this is a common request, but it's difficult to do because usually gated content is gated for a reason.
For security, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
security companies don't want you to do that. But the workarounds are if they have an API, you could send it to our webhook, and then from the webhook we can basically interact with it as well.
Okay.
So yeah, that's one way around it.
Okay. Okay. Um, and then Mike is asking about the highly requested offline mode that many people like to see. Um, I don't know if we have an answer for that.
Yeah, I wish
Yeah.
I was an engineer and I could tell you yesterday, but I don't have an answer.
It's tough. Offline mode is tough. I think,
Yeah, it's not the
that's not
easiest thing
easy to
to implement.
implement. Yeah, exactly. It's like a lot of apps start off with that, and then that's like, okay, that's their thing, but to add it, like, later I'm not technical, but I hear that that's pretty difficult, so no
Yeah.
ETA on that, but thank you for letting us know, that's something you like. Um, cool. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I don't see anything else pressing in there except oh wait, here we go. David asked, "What is the most active group? Facebook, Discord, etc." I think Facebook group. What do you think?
Honestly, it's like different cadences. So it's
Mhm.
like on Facebook, you'll like Facebook is definitely a lot more active, but like Reddit has been growing a lot more active and Discord as well.
Yeah.
And Telegram, like we're on so many different things, but it's like we're always there to hop in and kind of help out. So if anyone has anything that they're like struggling with or having issues with, like post on any one of those, and either me, Heidi, or someone else from our team will usually reply to you.
Yeah, somebody will get back to you. But yeah, I mean, if you want like a lot of users, I think I noticed Facebook's pretty active,
Mhm,
but Discord is too. It
mhm.
really kind of just depends. Like, where do you spend the most time? I think what's easier for you. So if you're never on Facebook, then it really doesn't matter if Facebook's active, right? Because you're not going to
Yeah.
go there anyway. So try to go to the channel that you would normally naturally be at to find
Yeah.
answers.
If
Is
you ask
usually a
me,
good one.
my Gmail inbox is the most active, but
Right? Yep. Let's see. What does David say? I think offline you can still read the stuff on the desktop app, but not write. Do you
I
know
don't
the
know
answer
about
to
that. Your
that?
guess
I
is
don't
as
know
good as
about
mine.
that. Yeah, I don't know about that either. I don't know. Well, you guys, this has been our first time streaming, so we appreciate you joining and giving us lots of questions in the chat. We're going to try to stream a lot more frequently, especially when we have new updates or anything else, or maybe just sometimes we'll do Q&A, office hours. Narek will teach me some stuff and we can chat about it. As soon as we dive in, I think more to some of these new updates, such as the YouTube automation, the RSS feed. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what we're going to be doing is just keeping everybody up to speed. Um, but yeah, did you have anything else that you wanted to add, Narek?
Honestly, I think that's pretty much it. I mean,
Yeah,
if there's anything else that anyone else kind of wants to talk about, we're here for like another few minutes, so I can quickly
for
address
sure.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please. If anybody has anything else, let us know. But yeah, basically, let's see. And was there something else that we wanted to mention? I think well, we made a lot of just like improvements and enhancements recently. Let's see. There's like a lot here. There's like a lot in this list. Do you see some questions in there?
Let's see.
I was gonna share my screen if we don't, but
Yeah, if I have some questions about how to get the most out of Taskade and agents for my
okay.
businesses, can I contact or reach out to anyone? Yeah, for sure. You guys could reach out to support@taskade.com. And then obviously any of our social channels as well. You can find those at taskade.com/community. So I'll just pop that into the chat right now. So You can essentially just type in that URL. You'll see wherever we are. And yeah, and then I see one person also said Taskade is about to get my money and I'm picky.
Ooh, okay. Well,
You're really putting on the pressure.
yeah, no pressure for us. No pressure for us. But yeah, I mean, support is a good channel if you have like, specific questions and you just like need to kind of be educated on how certain things work. If you're looking at like you have it for your business and you need seats, then like you could reach out to sales and start that conversation there. It kind of depends on what your questions are, but support's always a good channel. And social is a good channel to start off with too. We can move the conversation to either sales or support if needed, and we kind of go from there. But yeah,
Yeah.
what else we got here? We got Paul. Any workflows or knowledge base that shows workflows? Not sure I know what you mean.
So I think he's probably saying, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong about this. I think he probably wants like use cases or walkthroughs and tutorials.
Okay.
We do have a few of those on our YouTube channel, and we're going to. You guys should definitely go as public. And we're definitely going to go more in depth on some of those. So we're going to be recording more videos, more walkthroughs, especially on our one of our latest features, which is AI forms. There's a ton of stuff with that. Um, but yeah, you can start with YouTube, and honestly, this is kind of hacky, but you can train an AI agent in Taskade to on about basically using articles from Taskade's Help Center,
True.
and then afterwards just ask it questions about, hey, how do I set this up, or hey, how can I do this, and all that stuff. And I've done that multiple times. I will
Yeah, me too.
easily admit that.
Use
So
Taskade to learn about Taskade.
yeah,
It's
like
definitely
definitely it's a hack.
I think it's smart. Definitely do that. I mean, the tool knows a lot about itself,
Yeah.
amazingly. So, so like it can actually teach you because we're constantly training it on itself. So that's something to keep in mind is that you can definitely add our website, different links like we talked about before, like our main
Mhm.
website links, help center links. You can have agents that basically can be your own customer service agent. So you don't have to wait to talk to support. If you're
Yeah.
slightly more advanced, you can just build a little agent and ask it questions if we're not available. And then you don't feel like, you have to wait for us to respond to you. You can get the answer directly from the source. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, you can even tie in the RSS feed to Taskade's blog and then
Yeah,
just provide the blog articles as knowledge in a project, attach that project to your agent's knowledge, and now you have an agent that you can constantly talk to, and it's constantly being updated as well.
absolutely. Okay, we got a question here. Are you working towards custom logos for agents so that we can use our own photos? Oh, that's kind of fun. Be
Mm,
a good suggestion, like making your own little. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, you could have like, whatever, little
yeah.
emojis kind of thing.
I think the team is already working on something like
Oh,
this.
okay.
Yeah, but I think right now you can actually upload a custom uh I think it's a JPEG, but I'm not sure exactly if he's looking to kind of have like a different file, or I believe for the
Okay.
icon you can change it.
Okay. Okay. Let's
Yeah, you
see
could upload
here.
your own.
Okay, cool. You can. So for
Mhm,
agents, you can upload your own.
mhm.
Okay, sweet. All right. So you can. So you can. Um, UI is so good. Okay, thank you. Combined with the
Oh, thank
features,
you.
I think it's the best app. Yeah, us too. Better than Notion, Evernote,
Might be a little
etc.
biased, but yeah.
Little biased on the stream here, but I definitely do. I definitely do agree. Um,
Mm,
Well, that's a really deep question. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if we want to get that philosophical right now, but I do appreciate that. So it says, what is the ethos behind the product over at Taskade? What's the goal in what you deliver to the customer? I ask because you're doing a great job at consistently finding ways to add value. So yeah, I think like maybe Narek, you had kind of a short little blurb that you mentioned
Yeah.
when we were chatting before. How would you kind of describe Taskade in like a short kind of punchy little
Yeah,
line?
I think Taskade is the easiest way for you to introduce any sort of AI into your workflow, whether it's your own workflow or your team's workflow. Um, AI can get very technical. You don't need to know everything with AI. You don't need to know about like context windows or any of that stuff. I think we make AI human which is a very weird way, but essentially we make it possible for you to interact and kind of embed it into your team's workflows. Short works, yeah. I'll try my best. So yeah, like it's just if you want to start any sort of automation, now you can just add AI into it. If you need help, you can create an AI agent for any sort of specific tasks. Whereas if you manually try to code that using OpenAI's API keys and all that stuff, like it's going to take forever for you to do that. And it's going to require a lot of technical knowledge that you don't need. So yeah,
100%.
short and simple. I think Taskade is the easiest way to introduce AI into your team's workflow.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I mean, it makes it much more accessible for just the average user. And I think it's kind of more fun too to use AI within Taskade than going directly to, let's say, like a ChatGPT or Claude, and you're in that little environment. But in Taskade, it's like you can customize that environment to what makes sense for you, like whether you're working on a project and that's where you need things to be, or whether you want to have a roundtable with different agents. You don't want to, just have one knowledge base and you want to know where they're getting this knowledge from, or training it on your own information rather than just relying on whatever's already in there and having to manually train each time. You can train things once and be like, cool, and kind of interact with it like a team.
Yeah, 100%. And like it's just I mean, right now, even I'll just share this real quick.
Yeah.
Take 2 seconds. But with the agents, oh, by the way, this was answering the previous one. You can click on the avatar icon and then upload your own.
Oh,
But
okay. Avatar.
yeah, so one of the things that Taskade has is tools. So what you can actually do is you can add a tool, and for example, I can have it send an email on my behalf with my approval, obviously.
Yeah.
But essentially, if I draft this, and I'm just gonna connect my Gmail account real quick. We'll update this. If I'm chatting with it and I say create a draft email to actually let's do support at taskade.com, telling them how awesome this stream was. What it can do is it'll actually create it for you. It'll say to support at Taskade, put the subject for you, and then if I approve this, it'll send it over to them. So I'm just going to do that because why not? So it'll actually send it over, and it'll tell you the email has been sent. And this saves you so much time
It's
with
awesome.
copying and pasting. Like you're not context switching. If you're like
Mhm.
me, you have 80 million tabs open usually. Um, you're not like searching through tabs, remembering which one's which, or any of that stuff. You're just doing all of your work in one place, and that's kind of a huge value add for a lot of these things.
Yeah, 100%. You don't have to have multiple tabs, one to talk to AI, and then the next to edit it, and then the
Mhm.
next to send it. That can just be so exhausting. So, really, like the goal with Taskade is to make AI more accessible and make you more productive. However, that suits you, and that's why you'll see us coming up with all these exciting features, because we really want everybody to be able to get something amazing out of Taskade, and we really do listen to feedback. You can always go to taskade.com/feedback if you have like feature requests too. We do really take those into account when we're laying out plans for the engineering team. So let us know as well. Let's see. Taskade filters should improve anything on the roadmap. What do you
Um,
mean?
Yeah, this one is kind of like a broad question, but are you
Hmm.
referring to like sorting and grouping in projects? Because that one is like that's a whole different question. Filtering in automations is a whole different question. So it's like,
Sure. It would depend what you
yeah,
mean there. It would depend what you mean there. I said
yes,
yes.
yeah, that's definitely on our roadmap.
Okay.
We're working on a lot of more of the project functionality as well and improving that. So yeah, it's definitely in our roadmap. I I'm not an engineer. I can't tell you exactly when, but it's something that we're gonna work on for sure. And then
Awesome.
just in general, if you guys have any feedback, we track and respond to pretty much everything here on taskade.com/feedback.
Yep. Yep.
So definitely check it out. We try to make sure you guys feel heard. So if we haven't responded to you, I promise we're not ignoring you. It's just we either didn't see it or forgot or whatever it is. We're human too. We're an AI company, but we are human as well.
We're still run by humans. We'll see
Yeah.
if they replace us next week. We'll see how the stream goes. So we'll
Our
see.
next update will be it's AI introducing AI
Yeah, it'll be an AI
updates.
stream next time. So let's see. We got a little bit more time. Will you bring in Google Sheet embed and AI interaction with Google Sheet?
Google Sheet embed. I think this one is probably further down when we're probably
Yeah.
doing more project editor updates. So changing some of the editing and embedding functionality around there. AI interaction with Google Sheet. This is a very broad thing. Are you saying like updating information in Google Sheets? You can do that through automations. If you're talking about having the AI manually, the way that I showed with like drafting an email, maybe doing it for you through that, that's a separate request. And if you're talking about essentially uploading a Google Sheet and then having the AI run over it, like there's so many different like use cases with AI. So it's like if you guys can be more specific with some of these things, it's much easier for me to help you guys out too. But yeah, we're not against any sort of changes to that. I can't give you a timeline, but yeah.
Makes sense. Voice to text support. I know that's a popular suggestion there.
Yeah, I think this one is inevitable.
Yeah.
Because right now GPT 4.0, I think on their actual app they support voice, but I
Mhm.
don't think they have an API for it. I could be wrong with that, so don't quote me on that and be like he said this. So yeah, I think once it kind of comes out, then it will just be easier for us to just essentially switch over into that. It's just
Yeah.
a different API request.
100%. Yeah, I think that'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
I agree. That's just a matter of when. Um, okay, Kai, I've been having a rough time programming the automation for single agents to perform writing tasks. Is there a course on automation somewhere? What would be a good resource, do you think, Narek?
Mm, honestly, you can check out some of the YouTube videos that we have. I had one for blog automation, but usually I like to think of it as you have agents that have general instructions. So you can think of these as like roles and responsibilities. And then for more specific tasks, excuse me,
Mm.
for more specific tasks, you have commands. And for commands, essentially, you would run it as an excuse me.
It's okay. Narek's coming to the streams even when he doesn't feel well. We
Yeah.
appreciate him.
Sorry. One second.
Not a problem. So Narek did do a really cool tutorial video actually for automation. I think he was mentioning that. You can also totally reach out to us, like support, for example, if you have like a specific question on your automation or it's not working as expected, let the support team know. You know, could be a bug, like so it'd be good if we could fix it if there's something weird happening, or it could just be, you know, that you need a little help and we can work it out and figure out what's going on and make sure it works for you.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to answer through text much more. You won't have the coughing or
That's totally fine. Hopefully the coughing doesn't last forever
yeah.
and you'll recover. Okay, let's see. Well, let's just do a couple more and then we'll wrap this up, guys. When we input data into an agent, can it write to a project specifically as a table?
This is something that we're going to be working on in the
Yeah,
future. So it will be able to essentially fill a column or
future.
modify custom fields and stuff like that.
For sure. That's a good one. Thanks for bringing that up. That's definitely something we're working on. I mean, having agents actually interact with Taskade takes it to another level. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I think we should wrap up this stream here, you guys. I mean, essentially, we covered, the newsletter, which if you guys want to check that out, it's always at, I'll put it in the chat here, but taskade.com/blog is a good place to keep up with it here. So if you want to go over the things that we went over, of course, you can watch the replay or you feel free to just check out the blog or our YouTube channel as well. And yeah, that's what we really want to do, is just kind of introduce ourselves as like amateur streamers, so that we can come and interact with you guys and make sure that you're up to date. So anytime there's a newsletter, we'll be jumping on stream with you guys. Anytime there's a new update, or just anytime we feel like there's a lot of questions happening in the community. So the more active you guys are in the community, that helps us know when we should go ahead and jump on live, and we'll keep everybody updated. This one was a little bit spur of the moment, but we will keep everybody updated on all the channels. So join the Telegram channel, join the Facebook group, join Discord, get in there, get involved, and we will keep you updated.